Masinissa walked into the room alone. He had a cup in his hands. She looked at it. She looked at him. She said, "So this is how you keep a promise." He said nothing. She took the cup. "This is Roman Knights. We go back. We listen. We stay a while." 6 months earlier, he has taken Hispania. Now he is looking at Africa. Rome said no. He came anyway. The sea smells different on this side. Chapter 1. The land Rome did not want. The Senate of Rome did not want Africa. The senators had reasons. All of them were good. Hispania was not yet fully secured. Hannibal was still in Italy. The supply lines from Sicily were long and exposed to Carthaginian ships. The navy was stretched. The treasury was tired. And bringing a Roman army to Carthage's home ground was a bold idea and a speech. In practice it had a history. The last man who brought a Roman army to Africa was Regulus. That was 40 years ago. Carthage captured him. They sent his body back later as a message about what kind of history this was. The Senate voted no. This is what the Senate was for. This is what the Senate had always been for. It was the collective intelligence of Rome's most experienced men, applied to the question of whether a thing should be done. Sometimes it was right. Sometimes it was wrong. It was always loud about both. Scipio listened to the debate for 3 days. He noticed which arguments were about the plan and which arguments were about who had made the plan. The ones about the plan were worth answering. He answered them. He described the supply situation, the fleet capacity, the time required to secure Hispania versus the time required to force Hannibal's recall. He laid it out the way he had laid out Carthago Nova. In order. Without decoration. The ones about who had made the plan he did not answer. There was no point. A senator who has decided this will not be changed by the quality of the argument. He will be changed by what happens to the 27-year-old afterward. Either the plan works, the senator revises his memory of the debate, or the plan fails. The senator was right all along. Both outcomes are available to the senator without his having to do anything. The Senate voted no. Scipio did not wait for a second vote. He spent the winter in Sicily. He found every ship he could find. He trained every soldier he had and found more. He moved supplies without making formal requests. He drilled the army through the cold months and watched them become something different from what they were. He watched cavalry practice on the slopes above the harbor. He watched the infantry formations tighten. He watched the officers learn each other's decisions before they had to make them. The winter in Sicily was not a pause. It was the preparation that the Senate had not funded. He funded it from the campaign in Hispania, from the silver at Carthago Nova, from the tribute arrangements he had set up with the Iberian tribes. The Senate did not know where the money came from. He did not explain it to them. Then in the spring of 204 BC he pointed everything south. Rome said no. He came anyway. This is the thing about Scipio that the Senate had not yet fully understood. He was not defying them. He was operating in the space they had left open. They had voted against an official Africa campaign. They had not voted against whatever Scipio did with his existing command authority, his existing army, his existing ships. The distinction was real. It was also convenient. He used it. He always found the gap. The winter in Sicily was the longest he had spent in one place since Hispania. 4 months. He did not waste them. He had the army from Hispania. Veterans. Men who had been through Carthago Nova and the battles after that. Men who had watched the eastern coast of Hispania change hands over 2 years of fighting. They were good soldiers. They were also soldiers who had been winning for long enough to have opinions about how things should go. He needed to change some of those opinions. Africa is not Hispania. This was the thing he needed them to understand. The terrain is different. The enemy is different. Hispania was Carthage's territory, but Carthage was operating away from its center. Africa is the center. Hannibal's army in Italy is the extension. The center is always stronger than the extension. He drilled them through the Sicilian winter on what he knew about Numidian cavalry. He had been studying Numidian cavalry since he started planning Africa. He had the accounts from the Punic War. He had the dispatches from every Roman commander who had fought them in Hispania and Italy. He had men in his own army who had faced them at Trebia and Trasimene and Cannae. He asked them all. He built the picture. Numidian cavalry does not charge. This is the first thing to understand. It does not form a line and hit. It swarms. It surrounds. It cuts off. It pulls a formation apart the way water pulls sand apart, not with force but with persistence. The standard Roman response is to hold the line and wait for the cavalry to run out of energy. This does not work against cavalry with no interest in hitting the line directly. You answer it with cavalry that can do the same thing. He did not have that cavalry. He spent the winter trying to find a way around not having it. The answer kept coming back the same way. There was no way around it. You needed cavalry or you lost on the flanks, and losing on the flanks meant losing everything. He drilled the infantry on tighter formations. He drilled them on maintaining cohesion when the flanks were under pressure. He drilled them on the sequence of orders. The ones that would give cavalry time to arrive at the right moment. If he ever had cavalry to arrive. He trained them to trust the moment when he said hold and to move when he said move. He watched them get better at both. He also thought about something else during those winter months. Not just how to survive Numidian cavalry. How to make Numidian cavalry work for him. What it would mean. 3,000 Massili riders who moved the way Syphax's riders moved but answered to a different name. What the same tactics looked like from the other side. How to design a battle where that cavalry arrived at exactly the right moment on both flanks. He drew it on paper at night when the camp was quiet. Each time he drew it, it looked more possible. He needed Masinissa. By spring he had an army. It had been through the best preparation he could give it for the fight he was planning. He had done everything he could do in Sicily. The last night in Sicily he walked the camp. It was late. The men were asleep. The watch fires were low. He walked the full perimeter the way he walked the perimeter at Carthago Nova the night before the assault. The same purpose. Not to check the watch. To feel the quality of the thing he had built. The camp felt different from the camp at Carthago Nova. That camp had been a recovered thing. An army that had lost its direction and found it again. This camp felt different. These men had not lost anything. They had been building towards something for years. Some of them since Hispania. Some of them since before Hispania. They had been winning for long enough that winning felt like the natural state of things. He did not know if this was good or dangerous. A man who expects to win fights differently from a man who is fighting to survive. He fights with more confidence. He also fights with less attention to the possibility that the other man is better. He has been thinking about this all winter. He will tell them when the time is right. He will remind them at the right moment before the final battle that Hannibal is the most dangerous general alive. That what they are walking into is different from Carthago Nova. Different from Hispania. This is the man who designed Cannae. He has been fighting this war for longer than most of them have been soldiers. He will tell them. Not now. Now he walked and the camp breathed around him and he let it be what it was. An army that trusted itself. That trusted him. That was going to Africa because he said it was right to go. He owed them honesty when the moment came. For now he owed them this. A commander who could see what was coming and was not afraid of it. He was not afraid of it. He had been counting dead since he was 18 years old. He knew how to do that. He knew how to stand in the middle of what came after and keep moving. He pointed everything south. Something dry and old. Something that is not Italy. The continent has its own quality in the air. It reaches the fleet before the coast does. The men at the rails feel it. They feel it and look at each other and do not say what they feel. Some of them have never been further from Italy than Sicily. Some of them have never been further from Italy than Italy. They stand at the rails in the spring morning and they feel a continent they have never felt before. The smell is hard to name. It is not unpleasant. It is old in a way that Italy's smell is not old. Italy smells of things growing and rotting and growing again. The smell of land worked for many centuries. It shows. This smell is something under that. Something that was here before anyone worked it. Red earth and something sharp in the air that might be heat even in the morning. Something that makes the light look different from Italian light. The coast appears at midday. Scipio stands at the front of the lead ship. He has been there since the smell arrived. He watches the shape of the coastline the way he watches everything he has not seen before. He memorizes it. He has memorized every coastline of every approach to every city he has ever attacked. Carthago Nova. The Ebro Delta. The Cape near Cartagena. Now this. The African shore in the morning light. The fleet rounds the cape near Utica. The water changes color as they come around. Darker. Deeper. The harbor opens ahead. The city of Utica sits on its low hills above the water. It does not look like it was expecting them. Most cities do not look like they were expecting you. This is the advantage of moving faster than the news. He gives the order. The ships come in. 26,000 soldiers put their feet on African soil. This happens in the third week of April. The first man off each ship does the same thing. He looks at the ground before he looks at anything else. Not at the city. Not at the horizon. At the ground. At the red-brown earth and the quality of the light. At the shadows falling at a different angle than they fall in Italy. At the particular silence of a continent that does not yet know what has arrived on its shore. This silence does not last long. 26,000 men make noise. The ships make noise. The orders. The ropes. The cargo. The horses and the mules. The constant sound of a military force coming ashore fills the silence immediately. But for the first man off the first ship, the first step, there is a moment of it. Scipio is not the first man off the first ship. He comes third. The first man is a scout. The second is a legionary who has been in the front of every landing since Hispania. Scipio watches them step onto the ground. He watches the scout look at the soil the way someone who needs to report on it looks at soil. He watches the legionary look at it. The way someone who has been in the front since Hispania looks at new ground. With recognition. With the tiredness of a man who has seen too many new pieces of ground. Who knows another one when he is standing on it? Then Scipio steps off. He stands on African soil for a moment. He has been thinking about this step since he was 18 years old on the Cannae field. Not consciously, not all the time. But it was there, in the back of whatever he was doing. This continent. This coast. The city on the hill to the south that started the war and has been winning it. He is here. The moment is exactly as large as it is. Not larger. He does not make it larger. He counts what he has. 26,000 men. A fleet. The coast. The smell of a continent he has not been to before. He starts walking. Then they look up. Carthage is visible from the high ground near the cape. On a clear morning you can see its walls from 15 miles. The towers are white and tall. The harbor below them catches the light. Old harbors do this. Harbors that have always been full of ships. Some of the soldiers have heard about Carthage all their lives. Older soldiers have fathers who fought in the First Punic War. Some of them grew up with stories. The city that sent Hannibal. The city that funded 17 years of this war. The city that made the decisions that ended at Cannae. It is larger than most of them expected. Older. More permanent. It does not look worried. It looks like it has seen Romans before and knows how that has generally gone. This is the city that sent Hannibal to Italy. It sent him 16 years ago with 37 elephants and a plan. The plan has cost Rome more than anyone budgeted for. The city behind those walls has been winning this war. It was winning before most of these soldiers were old enough to fight. It does not look worried. It looks permanent. Scipio looks at it for a long time. He has been imagining this view for 2 years. He imagined it from the walls of Carthago Nova. He imagined it in Sicily on winter mornings before the men were awake. He knew then what he knows now. You end this war at the source. You go to the city that is paying for the war. You make it afraid enough to recall its general. He is at the source. The question now is what to do with being here. The first thing is the camp. He builds it fast. 26,000 men need a camp that can hold them and protect them. He has built camps before. He knows the order. Perimeter first. Watch positions. Water. The supply lines back to the ships. He has done this so many times the sequence is automatic. He gives the orders. The camp rises. He walks it before the first night to see what is wrong. There is always something wrong. He notes it. He fixes it. The camp is finished by the second day. The third day is for orientation. He sends riders in every direction. Small groups. Scouts. Men who are good at seeing and coming back. He needs the picture of the ground that the maps do not give. He needs to know what is between him and Carthage in terms of ground. What is between him and Hasdrubal's forming position. What the distances are when you are actually crossing them rather than measuring lines on parchment. The riders come back. He listens. He updates the picture. On the fourth day he goes himself. He rides to the high ground north of the camp with Laelius and 4 riders. He looks south toward Carthage. He looks east toward the territory Masinissa has been operating in. He looks at the Utica harbor from this angle and what it tells him about approaches and withdrawals. He is building the picture the way he built it at Carthago Nova. From the ground up. Starting with what he can see and working out to what he cannot. The picture has a gap. The gap is cavalry. Everything else he can see. He can see the Utica harbor. He can see the first ridge of high ground south of the city. He can see the direction Hasdrubal's scouts are coming from and what that tells him about Hasdrubal's position. He can measure the distances. He can calculate the time. The cavalry gap is the one thing that does not calculate. He rides back to camp. 2 forces start moving. Hasdrubal son of Gisco is pulling his army together near Utica. He has been watching the Roman landing carefully. He expected something like this. He has been preparing his answer. His answer is a large army in a defensive position. Close enough to be a problem. Not close enough to force an immediate fight. This is the correct answer strategically. Hasdrubal is not a bad general. He is a careful one. He knows what Scipio did in Hispania. He knows what Scipio did at Carthago Nova. He is not going to fight Scipio on ground of Scipio's choosing in the first weeks of a campaign. He is going to let Scipio run out of supply or make a mistake. He is going to wait. He will wait a long time. He does not know this yet. Syphax is marching from the west. Syphax is the king of the Massicilian Numidians. He was a Roman ally once. He was one of Rome's most promising potential partners in Africa. Then the war moved in a direction that made Carthage look like the winning side. He changed. Men change when they see which way the wind is running. He changed and married the daughter of Hasdrubal Gisco and put his cavalry at Carthage's disposal. His cavalry is excellent. 3,000 Numidian horse. Fast. Mobile. They have spent 15 years making Roman formations look slow and heavy on open ground. They have done it in Hispania. They have done it in Italy. They are coming west toward Scipio now and they are the single biggest problem on the board. Scipio maps the position. He is on the North African coast near Utica with 26,000 infantry. Hasdrubal Gisco is south of him near Utica with a large combined force. Syphax is west of him, moving toward the Hasdrubal position. Together they have perhaps 80,000 men. Hasdrubal has the infantry. Syphax has the cavalry. Together they constitute an army Scipio cannot fight in the open field without cavalry of his own. He has 1,000 Italian cavalry. 1,000 against 5,000 Numidian horse, with 80,000 infantry behind them, on open African ground. This is the calculation he has been looking at since he left Sicily. There is one path through the calculation. He needs Numidia. The piece of Numidia that has a reason to want Syphax gone. He has been thinking about this since the winter in Sicily. He knows the name of the man to find. He has known the name since he started reading the reports on African affairs 2 years ago. The name appears in every report. The prince who fought for Carthage in Hispania. The prince who switched sides when Carthage backed Syphax over his own claim. The prince who has been fighting a retreat war for 2 years. Fighting with whatever men he can keep. Waiting for something to change. He sends a message east into the open territory past Utica. The message says, I am in Africa. I know what Syphax took from you. Come and let us talk. He sends it and does not know if it will come back. 3 days later the reply arrives. Masinissa is coming. Scipio will think about waiting for him later. Not the meeting. The waiting itself. The 3 days between the message and the reply. He will remember standing at the edge of the camp in the early mornings, looking east at the low hills, knowing that everything in Africa depends on what one man decides. There are moments in a plan when you have done what you can do. The next thing is outside your control. The plan will work or it will not. There is nothing more to do on it. You wait. You check the things you can still check. You look at the maps and verify what you already know. You sleep if you can. He sleeps. During the day he does what he does. He walks the camp. He learns the names of the men he did not know from Hispania. There are veterans here who served under his father and uncle. Older men who know the African coast from the First Punic War. He finds them. He asks them what they remember. He is building a picture of this ground in his head. The way he built pictures of every ground before this one. But the picture has a gap where the cavalry should be. He finds one man in particular. A centurion from the south of Italy. He served in the First Punic War as a young soldier. He has been in Africa before. Not near here. Further east. Near Carthage itself. He was part of the force that went with Regulus. Scipio finds him on the second day. He asks him to walk and talk. The man is 60. He has the body of a man who has been marching since he was 20. He does not walk slowly. He describes what he remembers. The quality of the light here at this time of year. The way the ground changes as you go inland. The terrain south of Utica. Where the land opens and where it narrows. He remembers the smell of the air before a storm. The African coast smells different before a storm than the Italian coast does. He describes things that are not in any map. This is what Scipio came for. He asks about the Numidian cavalry. The centurion was there when Regulus fought them. He describes what he saw. The speed of it. The way they moved before the formation had time to respond. Not a charge. More like water finding a crack. Flowing into it before anyone could name the crack. Scipio asks, what worked against them? The centurion is quiet. He says, nothing worked. Not in the end. He says they need to fight on their terms. You cannot make Numidian cavalry fight on your terms. You can change what their terms are worth. If their flanks have something waiting for them, the flanks are not free anymore. The flanks being free is the whole thing. Scipio says thank you. He learns the man's name. He knows it when he walks away. The hills are empty. He knows what 200 Numidian cavalry look like from a distance. He has read the dispatches from Hispania. He has seen Numidian cavalry work in battle. They are small horses and small men and they move like water around a formation. You cannot hold them. You can only direct them. 200 is not enough for what he needs. But Masinissa himself is what he needs. Masinissa is the heir of the Massili kingdom. He is the man who should be king of the eastern Numidians. Instead he rides with 200 horses through open territory, waiting for an ally. He is a rallying point. If Scipio can put Masinissa back on his throne, the eastern Numidians come with him. And the eastern Numidians are the cavalry Syphax currently owns. This is the calculation. It takes 3 days to verify whether the calculation was right. The hills are empty. The hills are empty. The hills are empty. Then Masinissa comes over the eastern hills with 200 cavalry. He rides to the edge of the Roman camp and stops. He is younger than Scipio expected. 30 perhaps. Well built. His horse is the kind of horse that shows breeding even in the way it stands. He sits on it without apparent effort, the way men sit on horses they have been riding since childhood. He looks at the Roman camp. He looks at Scipio. Then he dismounts. Everything changes. Chapter 2, The King Without a Kingdom. Masinissa arrives with 200 cavalry. He rides at the front. He always rides at the front. He did it in Hispania when he was fighting for Carthage. He did it through 2 years of retreat war when the men behind him numbered less each morning. The front is where the information is. You see what is coming. You see how it comes. You have the first second to decide. Scipio has received reports about him. Age 30. Tribe, Massili, Eastern Numidia. Former ally of Carthage who changed sides when Carthage chose Syphax's claim over his. Good cavalry commander. Personal courage that his men talk about without prompting. The kind of charisma that belongs to men who have survived what should have killed them. Who have been reduced to the minimum and come back from it. The reports are accurate as far as they go. What they do not say is the way he sits on the horse. There are men who sit on horses and men who belong on them. Masinissa belongs on his. The angle of the body. The stillness that is not stillness but readiness. Something that says this is where the body makes sense. This is the form it was made for. He rides to the edge of the Roman camp and stops. His 200 stop with him. No order is given. They simply stop when he stops. This is the quality of a cavalry unit that has been together for a long time. The unit reads the rider. The rider does not need to speak. He looks at the Roman camp. He looks at Scipio. Then he gets off the horse. On the ground he is still a king without a kingdom. On the ground he is a man of 30. 2 years of losing behind his eyes. Not quite enough of everything. He has the lean look of someone rationing himself. The minimum has become normal. His clothes are the clothes of a man who has been in the field for longer than he planned. He walks forward. There is a version of this moment where it is formal. Where there is ceremony and titles and interpreters. This is not that version. Both men are too practical for ceremony. They look at each other. 20 feet of African ground between them in the April morning. They make the same calculation. What they each see, a man who does what he says. A man who has been tested and has not broken. A man who is here, which is the first requirement of any alliance. What they each decide, this will work. The moment is short. They are both busy men. What Scipio sees, a man of 30. 2 years of surviving with 200 horses. He arrived with them intact and in fighting condition. That last part is not nothing. You can find men who survive. Men who keep their horses in condition through 2 years of retreat war are rarer. What Masinissa sees, a Roman general who crossed the sea without Senate approval. Standing in Africa with 26,000 soldiers. The particular stillness of a man who knows where he is and why he is there. He has met Roman commanders before. He has fought under them and against them. Most of them have a quality of aggression. They want to tell you what they are going to do. This one is listening. A commander who listens is unusual. Masinissa decides to tell him things he would not normally tell a Roman general. He has information about Africa that Scipio needs. He has been deciding on the ride here how much to tell. How much is useful and how much creates leverage that he would rather not give. He has been deciding and now he looks at this general and he changes the calculation. He will tell him everything he knows. The moment is short. They are both busy men. They talk for 4 hours. The negotiation is practical. Both men are practical. There is not enough time for any other kind. Scipio lays out what he has. 26,000 infantry. Good soldiers, veterans. No cavalry. A fleet that can keep the supply lines open. A strategic position that is strong as long as it does not become a siege. While he is talking he is also watching. He watches Masinissa the way he watched his officers in Hispania before he trusted them with a plan. He looks for specific things. How a man listens. Whether the eyes stay on the speaker or move away when something uncomfortable is being said. Whether the body language matches the face. Whether the questions come from the information being given or from a different agenda. Masinissa listens with his whole face. He does not look away. When something uncomfortable is said. The cavalry number. The supply situation. The timeline. He takes it in and adjusts rather than deflecting. He is gathering information. He is building the same picture Scipio is building. From the same information. Arriving at the same conclusions at approximately the same speed. This is not something you can teach. Either a man's mind works this way or it does not. Scipio files this. Masinissa's mind works this way. He does not soften any of it. He has learned something in the field. Men who have been surviving adjust better when they know the actual situation. Softening the situation is an insult to men who have been reading it accurately for years. Masinissa listens. He asks questions. Not questions that test Scipio. Questions that need answers. His Latin is clear and good. When the questions get technical, he shifts registers. He sounds like someone who has been doing this for a long time. He has been doing this for a long time. He asks about the cavalry situation. Scipio tells him precisely. The cavalry situation is this. Syphax has 3,000 Numidian horse on the western side of the board. Hasdrubal Gisco has 2,000 mixed cavalry attached to his main force. Scipio has 1,000 Italian cavalry who have never fought Numidians in the open field. Against 5,000 experienced riders, 1,000 means the flanks are open. Open flanks mean the battle is lost before it starts. Scipio has been looking at this number for 6 months. He has been looking at it the way you look at a problem that has one solution. The solution is the one thing he does not currently have. He does not say this to Masinissa. He says the numbers. Masinissa is smart enough to read the rest. Masinissa is quiet. He says, Syphax has 3,000 Numidian horse. Hasdrubal has another 2,000. Against them you have 1,000 Italian cavalry. Good men. But they have never fought Numidians in the open field. Scipio says, yes. Masinissa says, I have 200. He says it with no expression. It is what it is. Scipio says, you can raise more. Masinissa says, I can raise more if I have something to raise them with. This is the core of it. Masinissa can recruit from the Massili tribes. The men who were his before the war changed everything. He has the name and the relationships. But he needs something to show them. He needs the Roman alliance to be visible. The men he is going to recruit are weighing their options. They need to see which way the calculation runs before they commit. What Masinissa has and what he needs are the same thing. He has his name. He needs his name to be worth something again. It was worth something before the war. The war reduced it. He needs a victory that attaches to his name. A visible alliance with the general who is winning. Something the Massili tribes can point to when they are deciding which way to lean. Scipio offers, help me take Syphax down. I will restore what he took from you. Masinissa has heard promises before. He does not say this. He says, I will need to see how you fight first. Scipio says, that is fair. They agree. The terms are what both men expected them to be. Masinissa fights with Scipio. Scipio signs no settlement with Carthage that does not include the Massili kingdom. Both men understand that one of those commitments is easier to keep than the other. Both men know which one. The one that is easy, Scipio will fight. He will win or he will not. If he wins, the settlement includes Masinissa. If he does not win, the settlement does not matter. The one that is difficult, Scipio cannot promise what Carthage will accept. He can promise what he will ask for. He cannot promise the answer. Neither of them says this. They do not need to. They eat together that evening. Things happen over food that do not happen in formal meetings. The quality of a man's patience. What he reaches for first. Whether he watches the room or focuses on the person in front of him. Whether he drinks to fill time or because he is thirsty. Masinissa watches the room. He does it without appearing to. His eyes move to the entrance. They check the guards. They move to the officers eating nearby. He counts exits. Not obviously. The way men count who have learned that rooms can change their nature. He has the stillness of a man who is always more aware than he appears. This is the quality of men who have survived things by paying attention at the right moment. Scipio watches him do this and says nothing. He does the same thing. He has done it since Hispania. Not because he has been ambushed. Because he met a man who was. The man told him what it cost. They are more similar than either of them expected. This creates a certain ease. They eat for a while without needing to say much. The food is camp food. The same kind of camp food in every army in the world. This creates a different kind of ease. Men who eat the same food are not entirely strangers. Masinissa eats methodically. He does not waste anything. He finishes what is on his plate before reaching for more. This is not ceremony. This is the habit of a man who has not always known if there would be more. Scipio notes this without commenting on it. They talk about minor things. The quality of the African horses. The road conditions east of Utica. The best time of year to cross the territory Masinissa has been moving through. Both men know these subjects well. It is a way of talking that is not about the main thing. Both men know that too. Toward the end of the meal, the practical things done, the wine lower in the cup, Masinissa mentions a name. The conversation has arrived where men say what they did not plan to say. He says it quietly. He is looking at his cup when he says it. He says, there is a woman in Syphax's court. He stops. He is choosing words. Not because he lacks them. Because there are too many and some of them are the wrong ones. He says, she is the daughter of Hasdrubal son of Gisco. Her name is Sophoniba. He does not explain it. He does not look up. He says the name and returns to looking at his cup. The room is quiet for a moment. Scipio files the name. He will come back to it. He notes the way it was said. Not as information. As something heavier than information. The kind of weight that comes from carrying a name for a long time. The kind of weight that has been carried so long the carrier no longer notices the weight. They only notice when they set it down briefly and feel how heavy the air is without it. He does not ask about it tonight. He asks later. He finds out later. The story is not complicated. Masinissa knew her. He knew her before the war moved in the direction wars move. She was promised to him. Then she was not. Then Syphax married her because Syphax had won and she was the most useful alliance Hasdrubal Gisco could offer. She has been in Syphax's court for 2 years. Scipio thinks about this for a day before he makes a decision about it. The decision is, he will let it be. For now. He has made this decision before with other things. There are things you see and do not act on because acting on them now costs more than waiting. He learned this in Hispania. A commander who responds to everything he sees has no attention left for the thing that matters most. You see. You file. You wait for the moment when the thing becomes relevant. The name Sophoniba is filed. He does not know when it will become relevant. He knows it will. He knows this because he can see what Masinissa looks like when the name is in the room. A man who looks like that when a name is said has been carrying it for a long time. That kind of carrying changes the decisions the man makes. Not all of them. The ones near enough to the name. You will watch. You will file. You will wait. They work for 2 weeks before Masinissa goes east. 2 weeks of planning. Morning sessions in the command tent. Laelius on one side. Masinissa on the other. Scipio in the middle with the maps. They build the picture. What Syphax can do. What Hasdrubal can do. What the space between those two forces looks like. Masinissa knows Syphax's patterns. He has been watching Syphax since before the war. He knows how Syphax thinks about cavalry. How he uses it when he feels confident and how he holds it back when he is uncertain. He knows the specific way Syphax has been wrong before. He tells Scipio. Scipio listens and asks questions and marks things on the map. Laelius watches both of them and says very little. This is what Laelius does in planning sessions. He watches. He asks his questions at the end. His questions are always the ones that found the gap nobody else found. At the end of the second week, Laelius asks one. He says, when Syphax's cavalry comes around the eastern flank, who is in their way? Masinissa and Scipio look at each other. Masinissa says, nothing yet. Laelius says, how long does it take you to get 3,000 Massili cavalry in the way? Masinissa says, 3 weeks. Laelius says nothing else. He doesn't need to. This is what Laelius does. He finds the question nobody else has asked. He asks it once. He waits for the answer. When the answer is complete, he stops. He has been doing this since they were young men together. Scipio plans. Laelius finds the gap in the plan. Not to undermine it. To close it. Between the two of them they have found more gaps and more plans than Scipio can count. Some of the gaps were small. Some of them, if left unfound, would have ended the campaign. The gap Laelius just found is not small. Who is in the way of Syphax's eastern flank? Nobody. Nothing. And the Syphax eastern flank is where the Massili cavalry will have to be to close the trap. Masinissa goes east in the second week. He uses the Roman alliance as a visible fact. He rides into the territory that was his before Syphax took it. He goes to the families he knows. He knows every family. He knows every name. He knows which men have reasons to want Syphax gone. He knows which ones have made peace with Syphax but can read which direction things are going. He talks to both kinds. He knows what to say to the men who are angry. He has been angry for 11 years. He recognizes the exact quality of their anger because it is the same as his. He does not perform sympathy. He says, I know. He says it and means it. The men who are angry hear the difference. He knows what to say to the men who are cautious. These are harder. Cautious men have decided to wait and see and they need a reason to stop waiting. He gives them a reason. He tells them what the calculation is. Syphax has lost his Roman ally. Scipio is in Africa with 26,000 soldiers. The calculation has changed. Waiting and seeing now means waiting to see who wins. Then deciding afterward. Which puts you on the wrong side of whoever wins. Inside the wrong alliance. He says this plainly. He does not dress it up. Some of the cautious men listen. Some of them do not. He goes to one elder, a man who led the eastern Massili when Masinissa's father was king. The man is old now. He has the patience of a man who has outlived several arrangements. He has outlived the arrangement where the Massili were independent. He has lived through the arrangement where Syphax was dominant. He watches Masinissa. He has watched many princes come back from retreat wars with promises. His eyes know the difference. Masinissa sits with him for 3 hours. He does not make promises. He describes facts. What has happened in Africa since the Romans arrived? What has happened near Cirta? Where Syphax is and what he currently possesses. He describes the Roman camp and what he has seen of Scipio's men. He describes Scipio. The elder listens. He asks, will Scipio win? Masinissa says, yes. The elder looks at him. He says, you believe this? Masinissa says, yes. The elder is quiet for a long moment. Then he says, how many men do you need? Masinissa does not smile. He says the number. He does not negotiate around the number. He says exactly what he needs. What it is for. What the elder's men will be doing. The elder nods. He says, come back in 4 days. I will have them ready. He recruits for 3 weeks. He rides the eastern territory from the Massili heartland to the edge of what Syphax controls. He argues. He persuades. He reminds. He promises things he can actually deliver and avoids promising things he cannot. This is the skill that separates the men who can lead from the men who only think they can. He will be king of Numidia one day. Not a client king. Not a king who holds his throne because a Roman general allowed it. A king. He does not know yet what the full price will be. He has been paying for 11 years and the bill is still adding up. He knows this. He accepts it. A man who wants to be king accepts the price. A man who is not willing to pay it does not become king. He comes back to the Roman camp in the 3rd week with 3,000 cavalry. They come over the eastern hills the same way he came the first time. But different. The first time it was 200 men who had survived together through years of losing. This time it is 3,000. The sound of it is different. 3,000 horses on the morning ground make a sound that is not quite like any other sound. Scipio hears it from inside the camp before anyone reports it. He walks out to see. He looks at the 3,000 horses and the men on them. He looks at Masinissa at the front. Masinissa looks at him. Scipio does not say what he is thinking. What he is thinking is, this changes everything. This makes the plan possible in a way it was not possible before. What he says is good. Let us talk about Syphax. Chapter 3, 2 men, 1 name. The battle near Cirta is fast. Masinissa leads the Numidian cavalry on the eastern flank. Laelius takes the Roman horse on the west. Syphax has more men. He expects to use them. He does not get the chance to use them the way he planned. Masinissa knows how Numidian cavalry fights. He knows it because it is how he fights. He trained with these methods before the war took him to the wrong side. He practiced them in Hispania. He ran them in retreat for 2 years. He knows the flanking move before it happens. He knows it the way a man knows the habits of someone he has watched for a long time. He cuts it off. The eastern flank is the more dangerous one. 3,000 Numidian riders under Syphax's best commanders. Men Masinissa has fought beside and against. He knows their names. He knows their patterns. He knows which of them cuts left when pressed and which of them holds too long on the right. This is knowledge you cannot buy. You acquire it by being in the same formations for years. He uses it. The eastern flank folds in 40 minutes. Laelius hits the center on the same stroke. The battle is over by midday. In the last 20 minutes of it, Syphax tries to rally. He is a large man on a large horse and he has presence. He rides back through his own retreating cavalry. He is loud. He is commanding. Some of the men stop. Some of them turn. He gets perhaps 400 turned around before Masinissa reaches him. Masinissa does not take him down himself. He does something more controlled. He cuts Syphax off from the men who have turned back. He puts riders between Syphax and the rally. The 400 men see themselves cut off from their king. They stop rallying. They start moving away from the Roman formation. The rally collapses before it can form. Syphax is alone. 2 of Masinissa's riders take him from the horse. He does not fight it. He is the kind of man who can read the end of something. He understands that this is the end of this. He goes down. Syphax is taken alive. He is brought to Scipio's tent still in armor. He is a large man, older than the report said. He has the look of someone who held power long enough to stop being surprised by it. He has not stopped being surprised by this. He sits in the tent. He looks at the floor. He is not yet finished understanding what has happened. Men who have held power for a long time have trouble believing when it ends. They keep waiting for the situation to correct itself. This situation will not correct itself. Scipio looks at him for a moment. He does not gloat. He does not perform anything. He gives the order for Syphax to be taken to the rear. Syphax does not respond. He is still inside the first hour of understanding. He will go to Rome eventually. In chains. In a triumph that has not happened yet. He will be evidence that the war turned. He does not know this yet. He is still in the first hour. Scipio turns to the next problem. The next problem is Hasdrubal Gisco. Hasdrubal has his main force intact. He was not at the battle near Cirta. He has been watching from a position near Utica. He watched the Syphax cavalry go east. He watched it not come back. He knows what that means. He is now recalculating. Scipio knows what a careful general does when the cavalry he was relying on does not come back. He does not commit. He holds his position and waits for information and reassesses the board. He may pull back toward Carthage. He may wait for Carthage to send him orders. He may send for reinforcements. He will not attack without cavalry. This gives Scipio time. Not a lot of time. Time is always running in both directions. But enough time. Enough to take Cirta. Let Masinissa begin the work of establishing himself. Then turn back toward Hasdrubal with a cleaner situation than before. He thinks about the sequence. He is always thinking about the sequence. What needs to happen before what? What is possible in which order? He learned this from Canny, from the reading he has done of Canny. The sequence is the plan. The plan is the sequence. Hannibal understood what needed to happen in what order, and he arranged everything to produce that sequence. You do not just decide what you want to happen. You decide the order in which things have to happen for the thing you want to be possible. Syphax is done. Masinissa has Cirta. Hasdrubal is waiting. He turns toward what comes next. Hasdrubal Gisco is the next problem on the board. He has a large force. He has held it intact. He is a careful general waiting for the right moment. He will not get the right moment. Scipio knows this not from arrogance but from the specific shape of what has changed. 6 weeks ago, Hasdrubal had Syphax's cavalry available to him. Now he does not. 6 weeks ago, Scipio had 1,000 Italian cavalry. Now he has 1,000 Italian cavalry. And 3,000 Massili cavalry who know this territory and the men they are fighting. The calculation Hasdrubal was working with is no longer the calculation. He has not updated it yet. When he does, his options will narrow. Scipio will be ready when they narrow. He thinks, there is still a lot to learn. He thinks he is learning it. He turns. Masinissa takes Cirta that evening. The city knows who is coming back. Some of the men at the walls remember serving under Masinissa before the war changed everything. Some of them have families in the Eastern Territory who sent word west. The word came. It said, the prince is back and the Romans are with him, and the calculation has changed. The gates open. Masinissa rides through them. He has been imagining this. He has been imagining it for 2 years, some part of him, under the rest of the thinking. The city of his family. The capital of what should have been his. He rides through the gates and the city makes its sound around him and he keeps his face still. The city sounds like a city returning to something. Cautious noise. Not celebration, not yet. People who have spent 2 years under one arrangement and are now watching a different arrangement arrive. They watch from doorways and upper windows. They see him. Some of them recognize him. He can see the recognition when it lands. It changes how they hold their bodies. He does not stop. He rides to the palace. The palace is not as he remembered it. This is always true of places you have not seen in a long time. You carry the memory and the memory is a version of the place as it was. The actual place has changed. It is smaller in some ways and larger in others. Different smells. Different light at this time of day. He goes in. 3 hours later, a messenger arrives at Scipio's camp. The messenger says, Masinissa has taken a wife. Sophoniba is the daughter of Hasdrubal son of Gisco. She is not Syphax's wife by love or by her own choosing. She is his wife by the logic of a war. Her father needed Syphax's cavalry. He needed Syphax on Carthage's side and kept there. He gave her to Syphax. Syphax married her. That was the end of her preferences for several years. She made herself useful inside those years. She learned who Syphax trusted and why. She learned which of his officers had ambitions and which had fears. She learned which tribal leaders came to him for favors and which came because they had no choice. She learned where the money came from and where it went. She made herself necessary. Intelligent people learn this skill when they have no other option. They make themselves too useful to remove. They make themselves the person in the room who knows where everything is. She was also her father's daughter in ways that were not obvious. Hasdrubal son of Gisco was a general. He thought in terms of position. He was always calculating where things were and what the distances between them meant. What could reach what in how much time. What position was worth holding and what position was worth giving up to gain something better. She had grown up watching him do this. She was not a general. She did not have armies. She had rooms. She had conversations. She had access. She had the access that comes from being the wife of the king, and the daughter of his most important ally. She used it the way her father used armies. She moved pieces. She held positions. She gave up positions that were not worth holding to gain ones that were. 2 years in Syphax's court. 2 years of rooms and conversations and access. She knew more about the current state of the African war than most of Syphax's officers. She had been collecting it systematically. Not for any specific purpose. Because her father taught her that information is more useful than anything else. More useful than money. More useful than men. Information tells you where the men and the money need to go. She knew, when Masinissa's cavalry came through the gates, that the Roman general would want to see her. She knew what she represented. She knew what he would think. She knew what his options were. She chose the throne room. She chose the chair. She chose the light. She waited. She was 31 years old. She had been waiting since she was 16. Since her father made the first arrangement. She had been waiting in different forms since then. Waiting for the war to end or to change. Waiting for the calculation to move in a direction that gave her options. Waiting in Syphax's court for 2 years while the calculation moved slowly and then quickly, and now tonight. Masinissa walked in and stopped when he saw her. She looked at him. She was in the throne room. She chose to be there. She chose that room before the first Numidian soldier arrived. She chose the chair near the center. She chose it because of the afternoon light from the western windows. The light came in at a specific angle. She sat in that light and she waited. She knew Masinissa would come for her. Not because she expected rescue. Because she understood what she represented. She was Hasdrubal Gisco's daughter. The daughter of the man commanding Carthage's main African army. She was the most visible symbol of Carthaginian influence in Syphax's household. She knew what a Roman general would think, seeing that symbol beside a man he had just made his ally. She was also the woman Masinissa had never stopped thinking about. She had known that too. For a long time. 2 years of Syphax's court had given her this kind of knowledge. How men carry things. What they carry and don't say. She had seen Masinissa before when she was young and the world was a different shape. She knew what that kind of carrying looked like. He walked in and stopped when he saw her. She looked at him. She said, "Are you going to let them take me to Rome?" He said no. He married her that night. He did it in the throne room before the Roman camp heard what he had done. He used 3 hours. He did not waste any of them. He understood going in that he had 3 hours and then the window would close. He used them completely. 3 hours is not long. It is also not short when you are in them. He had known her before the war. Not well. In the way that you know someone in the context of a larger arrangement. She was Hasdrubal Gisco's daughter. He was the Massili prince with a potential alliance. They had been in the same room several times. Formal rooms. Rooms with other people. She was 14 when he first saw her. He was 19. He does not romanticize this. He knows what it was. An arrangement between families. A political alliance dressed as a personal one. What he also knows is what he saw in those rooms. A girl of 14 who said almost nothing and missed nothing. Who chose where to sit. How to sit. Whether to look at the person speaking or the person being spoken to. Who made decisions that looked like stillness. He watched her the way he watches everything he is interested in, quietly for a long time without announcing it. He did not know then what he was watching. He knew later. When her father changed the calculation. When the war moved. When the arrangement moved with it. He spent 11 years carrying a name and knowing exactly what the name was and why he was carrying it. 3 hours in a throne room is not what either of them expected. She expected Rome. She had calculated Rome as the most likely outcome. He walked through the door and she said, "Are you going to let them take me to Rome?" He said no. He meant it. He still means it. What he is going to do tomorrow morning is a different kind of keeping the promise. He knows this. He will carry this too. He has more capacity than he expected. He used the 3 hours. Scipio rides to Cirta at first light. The road is 17 miles. He does not push the horse. He has an hour to think and he uses it. He is going to say something difficult. He has said difficult things before. What he has learned is that how you say them matters almost as much as what you say. Say it with too much explanation and the other man spends the conversation arguing the explanation. Say it without enough and the other man thinks you don't understand what you're asking. He knows what he is asking. He understands exactly what it cost. He rides the 17 miles. He thinks about how to say it. He arrives at the palace with nothing to say except the truth. The city is still adjusting to having changed hands. The streets have the quality streets always have in the first morning after something changes. People moving a little more carefully. More aware of where they are and what the new arrangement means for them. He rides to the palace. He sits across from Masinissa in a room that was Syphax's room 2 days ago. The furniture is still Syphax's. The rugs are Syphax's rugs. The fire in the corner is burning Syphax's wood. Masinissa sits in Syphax's chair. He has the air of a man who has made a decision. He is waiting to see if the other man understands yet. Scipio understands. He says she cannot stay. He says it plainly. Not with anger. Not with pleasure. He says it the way you say a fact that is inconvenient and real. She is the daughter of Hasdrubal Gisco. She is Carthaginian nobility. She carries names and alliances and information. Scipio cannot allow it to remain in the household of a military partner. She knows the corners of this war. She knows who owes what to whom. Under Roman law she is a prisoner of war. She belongs to Rome. If she stays she becomes a problem that grows the longer it is allowed to exist. None of this is personal. He says it the way you say a true thing that is also a difficult thing. He says she cannot stay. Masinissa looks at the wall. He says she's my wife. Scipio says I know. He waits. He does not add anything. He does not explain further. The explanation is complete. He waits for Masinissa to do what Masinissa is going to do. The room is quiet. Outside the city is waking up. The sound comes through the stone walls. Carts on cobblestones. A vendor calling. A horse shifting its weight in a courtyard somewhere. The ordinary sounds of a city starting its first day under a new arrangement. Masinissa looks at his hands on the table. He looks at the fire. He does not look at Scipio. He says, "Give me until tomorrow morning." Scipio looks at him. He holds the look long enough to mean something. He says, "Tomorrow morning." He stands. He leaves. The door closes. Masinissa does not watch it close. He is already inside whatever he is deciding. This is where the story turns. Not in the battle. Not in the throne room. Here. In this moment after Scipio walks out. Masinissa is alone in Syphax's chair in Syphax's room, looking at Syphax's fire. The same fact. Different eyes. From where Scipio stands the decision is clear. Sophoniba is a risk to the alliance. She is too well connected. Too intelligent. Too Carthaginian to sit in the household of a Roman-backed Numidian king without becoming a problem. Scipio cannot allow it. He is right not to allow it. He is doing exactly what a man in his position should do. He said what needed to be said. He left. He will deal with whatever comes next when it comes. Masinissa knows all of this. He has been at war long enough to recognize the correct decision. He can read it from across the table. He also knew her when he was 19 years old. Before any of this, before Hasdrubal Gisco decided that Syphax's cavalry was more useful than Masinissa's goodwill, before the arrangement was revised, he was promised to her. Her father made the promise and then changed his mind and gave her somewhere else. These things happen. This is how fathers and kings operate. The promise was revised and Masinissa had no options within the revision and he went to war. He tried to forget her name. He did not forget it. He carried it. Through every camp on the wrong side of the war. Through Hispania, fighting against the Romans who are now his allies. Hoping no one asked him which side he was on. Through the sea crossing back to Africa. Through the first year of the retreat war with a shrinking army. Through the second year when the army was very small. Some mornings the count was different than the day before. He carried it to Utica. To the meeting with Scipio. To the eastern hills where he found the Massili men and remembered what his name still meant to them. He carried it to Cirta. She was in the throne room. She had chosen the light. He had 3 hours before the Roman camp would hear. He used them. He knew it was not the correct decision in the way that Scipio would mean correct. He made it anyway. He was 19 years old when he was promised to her. He is 30 now. He used the 3 hours. Now he is alone in Syphax's chair and he thinks about what tomorrow morning means. He already knows what he is going to do. He has known since Scipio closed the tent flap behind him. He has known it the way you know things already decided. Things that are simply waiting for the time to arrive. He thinks about the throne room again. She had chosen that chair before he arrived. She had arranged herself in the light. She had asked him a question that was not about Rome. She was asking him what kind of man he was. Whether he would let her choose when she had no choices left. He told her no. He told her he would not let Rome take her. He was telling the truth. He is not letting Rome take her. What he is doing is something that he will carry differently from what Rome would do. Rome would take her to Rome. Rome would put her in a triumph. She would walk in chains behind a chariot. In a city she had never seen. Displayed as evidence of a victory. She would be a fact in someone else's story. He is not letting that happen. He is doing something else instead. He tells himself it is a kindness. He believes this while he is telling it to himself. He knows the difference between what he is doing and what Rome would do. It is a difference in how she dies. Where? By whose hand? Rome would keep her alive longer. He is not keeping her alive. He is giving her the choice of not being kept. He believed her when she said that is enough. Then. He believes that she meant it. He believes that she had already chosen before he came through the door. That she had arranged the light in the throne room. She knew it would end in a room somewhere. She wanted to choose which room. He gave her that. He goes to find what he needs. He finds it where he expected. The man who supplies the army knows what is in his stores. He does not ask questions. He looks at Masinissa. At what Masinissa is asking for. He says how much. Masinissa says that amount. The man measures it. He puts it in a plain container. He hands it over without looking at Masinissa's face. Masinissa says thank you. He means it. He goes back to the small room off the main corridor. He prepares the cup himself. Chapter 4. What he gave her. Masinissa prepares the cup himself. He does this alone in the small room off the main corridor. He knows what to ask for. He knows where to find it. He knows how much is enough. A soldier accumulates this knowledge. He learns it in the field and in the camps and in the particular silences after battles. He does not want this knowledge. He has it anyway. He has had it since Hispania. There was a man in the camp. Iberian. A cavalry officer who had been with the Carthaginian force since the beginning. He was wounded badly in a skirmish near the river. The surgeons were honest about what was going to happen. And how long it was going to take. The man asked Masinissa to do something about the how long. Masinissa was 23 years old. He did not know how to answer. He learned. He found out what was needed and how much and he did what the man asked. He did not think of it again until tonight. He thinks about it now. The Iberian officer had been in pain for 4 days. Not dramatic pain. The steady kind that does not let you sleep and does not let you stop noticing it. He had asked once and then not asked again. He lay in the camp and he waited. He looked at the ceiling of the tent. He was very patient because there was nothing else to be. Masinissa came to him. He was 23. He did not know how to begin. He started with the wrong thing, which was to say he was sorry. The man stopped him. He said, "Don't. Just do it." So he did. After, he went outside the camp and he sat on the ground for a while. He was not sick. He was not distressed in any obvious way. He sat on the ground and he looked at the sky and he waited for whatever was going to come. What came was nothing specific. The sky was the sky. The camp was the camp. The man was not in pain anymore. There was no accounting he could do that made one thing outweigh the other. He simply sat with it. He got up. He went back into the camp. He did not talk about it. He does not talk about it now. He holds the cup. He thinks about what Sophoniba said in the throne room. Are you going to let them take me to Rome? He thinks about what she was asking. She was not asking about Rome specifically. She was asking whether he was the kind of man who would give her the choice. Whether he had that in him. He told her no. He meant he would not let Rome take her. He also meant he was the kind of man who would give her the choice. He was right about both. He carries the cup down the corridor. It is a plain cup. The kind used for water or wine or anything. The kind in every camp in every army. He has drunk from cups exactly like it every day for 11 years. He has never thought about those cups. He thinks about this one. He thinks about the throne room. About her in the chair choosing the light. About the way she looked at him when he walked in. Not frightened. Not surprised. She had calculated what he would do and she had been right. He arrived at the calculation she had made before he walked in. He thinks about the question she asked. Are you going to let them take me to Rome? She was not asking about Rome. He understood this at the time. He understands it more fully now in the small room with the cup in his hands. She was asking him something about himself. About what kind of man he was. Whether he was the kind who would give her a choice when she had no other choices. He told her no. He was the other kind. He holds the cup. He looks at it for a moment. Then he stops. Thinking about it does not change what it is. He knows what it is. He has made the decision. More thinking is a way of not moving and he has used up all his time for not moving. The morning is coming. He does not have until the morning. He has tonight. He carries the cup down the corridor. The corridor is long. The palace of Cirta is old. The corridor is stone, lit by torches at long intervals. The torches are spaced the way they are spaced in old buildings, placed when oil was expensive and never changed. Between them the darkness is substantial. He walks in and out of the light. The sound of his footsteps is the only sound. He has walked corridors before actions before. Hundreds of times. Before assaults. Before cavalry charges. Before the rides into enemy territory that could go either way. He has learned what to do with the corridor. You walk. You let your feet carry you. You do not fill the mind with what is coming. The mind that fills too early loses the steadiness the action requires. He keeps the mind quiet. His feet carry him. The rest of the palace has settled into the night. The new guards from his own men are at the far end. Massily soldiers who have been with him since the retreat years. They see him coming. They step aside. They do not look at the cup. He stops at her door. He knocks once. He waits. He hears her say something. He opens the door. She is standing near the window. The city is dark outside. The torches on the lower walls are lit. The light from them comes across the floor in long angles. It does not reach where she is standing. She is in the part of the room the light does not touch. She chose this spot before he knocked. She heard his footsteps when he was still at the end of the corridor. She knows the sound of him in a corridor. She knows this sound. The way she has learned to know the sounds of every person who has had power over her life. She learned this in Syphax's court. You learn the sounds. You give yourself the preparation that the sound allows. She had time. She arranged herself. She is not in the light. She does not want to be seen before she is ready to be seen. This is not about vanity. It is about control. She has had almost no control for 2 years. She has made it with the things she has. The chair she chose. The window she chose. The way she speaks and to whom. The silences she allows to go long and the silences she cuts short. The light she chooses to sit in and the dark she chooses to stand in. She is in the dark. She looks at him. She looks at the cup. She looks at him again. She says, "So this is how you keep a promise." He says nothing. He thought, walking the corridor, that there might be something to say at this point. He found nothing. There was never going to be something. He has known since he left Scipio's tent where this corridor ends. Now he is at the end. There is nothing to say. She walks toward him. She does not wait. She does not perform anything. She walks across the room and she takes the cup from his hands. Her hands are steady. Steadier than his. This surprises him. It should not surprise him. She has been calculating since the moment she chose that throne room chair. She has been ready for this since before he arrived. He looks at her hands and then he looks at the wall behind her. She says, "You were the only one I wanted to be kept by." He says, "I know." She looks at him the way she has looked at everyone she needed to understand. Directly. Finding what she is looking for without apology. She is looking for whether he understands what she means. He understands what she means. She can see that he does. She means before the war. Before her father changed the arrangement. Before Syphax. Before any of this. She means the version of this that existed before it got complicated. She is not asking him to go back there. She knows they cannot. She is saying it existed. It was real. It still is real in the way that things are real when they have happened. He says, "I know." She nods. She says, "I am glad it was you who came through the gate." He does not answer. There is no answer that does not make this worse. She knows this. She does not wait for one. She says, "That is enough then." She looks at the cup. She holds it the way people hold things they are about to put down. She looks at the city outside through the dark window. She looks at him one last time. She drinks. She drinks it the way she does everything. Completely. Without performance. As if this is simply a thing to be done and she is doing it. She hands him the cup. He takes it. He stays in the room. He does not leave. Leaving would be easier. He has done enough easy things. She walks back across the room. She walks to the chair near the window. The one where the torchlight comes in at the right angle. She chose this chair when she arrived in Syphax's court. She chose it because of this light. 2 years of sitting in this chair. She knows the exact angle. She sits in it with the ease of long practice. She looks out at the city. He stands where he is. He does not move to the other chair. He does not sit. He stands in the room and watches her watch the city and he does not look away. This is not punishment. He does not think of it that way. It is what he owes her. The city makes its night sounds. A cart on a street below. Iron on stone. Someone in a lower courtyard calling a name across the dark. A voice that does not know it is being heard. The ordinary sounds of a city doing what cities do in the deep part of the night. She does not close her eyes. She watches the city. The lights on the lower walls. The darkness beyond the walls where the territory opens east. She watches it the way she has watched it for 2 years. The view that was the only thing that was consistently hers in Syphax's palace. This window. This light. This territory to the east that was Masinissa's before it was Syphax's. She always knew that. She chose this window because of the east. He watches her watch the east. Her breathing changes. It is slow when it changes. Not dramatic. The way things change when they do not announce themselves. It slows. Her head tilts forward, slightly. It stops. He sits in the chair across from hers. He does not know how long. The torches on the lower walls burn lower. The sounds of the city change. The way they change when the night gets deep. The ordinary noise stops. What is left is the city breathing on its own. He thinks about the throne room. The way she had chosen that specific chair. The way the light was falling when he walked in. She had chosen the light from the western windows. Afternoon light. She had been sitting in it when he arrived. Not the torchlight. Not the lamp. The afternoon light. She had chosen it hours before when she chose to be in that room at all. She was always choosing the light. He thinks about, are you going to let them take me to Rome? The way she had already counted the options before he arrived. She knew what the question would be. She was not asking him to save her. She was asking him something specific about himself. What kind of man are you? What do you do when you cannot give someone what they need but you can give them something? Whether he was the kind of man who would give her a choice when she had no other choices. He was. He gave her that. He sits in the chair for a long time in the dark. He holds this. He does not try to put it somewhere smaller than it is. He stands. He picks up the cup from the floor. He carries it out of the room. He does not look back at the chair. He has looked back at enough things. He is done looking back at this one. He is taking this with him in a different way. The cup in his hand. Her voice saying, "That is enough then. This he will carry. He will carry it the way he carried her name through Hispania and the sea crossing in the retreat years. Some things you carry. The corridor back is the same corridor. The same torches at the same intervals. His footsteps are the only sound. He walks. He goes to Scipio's tent. It is the deep part of the night. The camp is quiet. The watch fires are low. The guards let him through without speaking. He walks into the tent and stands there in the entrance for a moment. Scipio is at the table. He has papers on the table. He looks up. He looks at Masinissa. He looks at the cup in Masinissa's hand. He says nothing. He already knows. He has known since he left Cirta this morning. Since he said tomorrow morning and walked out of the room. He did not know exactly what Masinissa would choose. He knew the shape of what was possible. He let Masinissa find it. He stands up from the table. He moves to the side of the tent where the supplies are. He finds a cup. A different cup. He fills it from the jug on the table. He brings it to Masinissa. He takes the cup that Masinissa is holding. He does not look at it. He sets it on the ground at the edge of the tent. Out of the light. Masinissa sits down. He takes the cup Scipio brought. He holds it. He does not drink yet. They sit together in the tent in the deep part of the night. No maps on the table. The lamp is low. The paper Scipio was looking at her face down. The sound of the camp outside is distant and intermittent. A horse shifts somewhere in the dark. A guard's sandal on the ground once and then quiet. The lamp flickers. Someone outside moved past it. The lamp steadies. Scipio does not say anything about tonight. He does not ask. He does not explain the decision or justify it or comment on what it costs. He sits at the table and he is present in the tent, and that is all he is doing. This is something Masinissa notices. He has known Scipio for 4 months. He has been watching him since the first meeting. The way he listens. The way he waits. The way he reads a room without appearing to. Masinissa has been watching him. The way you watch a man you need to trust while still deciding whether you do. He decides now. He drinks from the cup. Wine. Camp wine. The kind that is not good but is not bad. He has been drinking it every day since Hispania. He will drink it every day until this war ends. Or he does. He drinks it and it tastes the same as it always tastes, and that is exactly right. Should taste the same. He needs things that taste the same tonight. After a long time Scipio says, "We move on Utica in 6 weeks. Hasdrubal will be waiting. It will be a proper fight." Masinissa says, "I will be ready." He says it without any particular tone. He will be ready. He has always been ready. Being ready is the thing he knows how to do. He has been ready through 2 years of retreat. A campaign. A battle. A night he will not talk about again. He will be ready. Nothing else passes between them that night. Scipio puts out the lamp at some point. The tent is dark. Outside, the camp breathes in its sleep. The watch fires hold their low light. The stars of Africa are different from the stars of Italy. Slightly. In angle. In brightness. Things that are far away are always slightly different than the same things seen from another place. Masinissa is in Africa. He is home. He is going to be king of Numidia. He has known this for 11 years, and he knows it more specifically now than he did this morning. This is the cost and the price in the beginning. He has paid something. He has been paying something for a long time. He is going to keep paying it because the alternative is not becoming king, and the alternative is not acceptable. He sits in the dark. He sits until the first light comes. The first light is the gray before the sun. Africa's light comes differently than Italy's. It does not come gradually. It comes in a single movement, as if the darkness decides to stop rather than gradually fading. He watches it happen from the chair in Scipio's tent. Scipio is asleep. He fell asleep in the chair across the table, which is not unusual. He sleeps before difficult days and in the middle of difficult nights when there is nothing else to be done. The papers on the table are still face down. The lamp has gone out. They did not relight it. Masinissa sits in the growing light and he thinks about what comes next. He is king of Numidia now and everything but the formal declaration. The declaration will come when Syphax is sent to Rome and the eastern territory is fully secured. He is king in the way that matters more than the declaration. His men know it. The men of the eastern tribes know it. The men who were in that throne room know it. He is 30 years old. He has 11 years of paying the price of this and he is not done paying. He knows this. The price for tonight is not the last price. There will be more. There are always more prices after the one you are paying. You cannot see them from where you are. You pay the one you can see and trust that you have enough for the ones you cannot. He has always had enough. He thinks about what this means. Not with pride. As an observation. He has been in situations that should have ended differently. The retreat years. The mornings when the count was lower than the day before. The moment he understood that his father was not going to help him. That the dynasty had changed direction. That he was going to have to build his own path to the throne from the available material. He built it. He built it the same way he builds everything. One piece at a time. Finding the men who could still be found. Finding the ground that could be held. Making each small decision correctly and letting the small decisions accumulate into something that held together. 2 years of this. He came to Utica with 200 horses. He is leaving with 3,000. He came without a kingdom. He is leaving with the Eastern Territory in his name and Syphax on his way to Rome. He does not take stock of himself often. It is not a useful activity for a man who is still in the middle of a campaign. But he takes stock of himself now briefly in Scipio's tent in the dark. He is 30 years old. He is going to be king. He is going to be king for a very long time. The first light is coming. He sits in it until Scipio wakes. He sits in the growing light. The tent smells of the lamp that has gone out. Of the wine from the cups. Of canvas and the African morning coming through the edges of the tent flap. He thinks about, that is enough, then. He thinks about the way she said it. The specific quality of the voice when she said it. Not resignation. Something closer to relief. The relief that comes when the thing you have been waiting to happen finally happens and you can stop waiting. She was ready. He had 3 hours in the throne room. He used them. He does not regret using them. He knows he will carry what he used them for. The way he has carried other things. For as long as he carries anything. He accepts this. The light comes. Scipio opens his eyes. He sees Masinissa in the chair across the table. He says nothing for a moment. Then he says, "There is work today." Masinissa says, "Yes." They both stand. The tent wakes up around them. The camp outside begins its morning. The guards change. The fires start. 26,000 men and 3,000 cavalry preparing for whatever the day requires. Masinissa goes to his horses. He always goes to his horses first. The horses are in the eastern section of the camp. His 200 horses from the retreat years and the 3,000 who joined in the last weeks. 4 different territories represented in them. 4 different breeding traditions. 4 different approaches to how a horse should respond to a rider. He moves among them. He knows each of the 200 who came with him. He knows their specific temperaments. Which ones need to be approached from the left. Which ones require patience at the start of a session and speed in the middle of it. Which ones are best in the morning and which ones are better in the afternoon. He has been learning these horses for 2 years. He knows them the way he knows the roads of the Eastern Territory. From having moved through them many times. The 3,000 are newer. He does not know each of them. He knows the units. He knows the commanders. He knows the broad shapes of how each group behaves under different conditions. He is still building the specific knowledge. This takes time. He moves through them this morning slowly. He is not checking them. He is being with them. There is a difference. Checking is attending to specific things. Being with is attending to the overall quality of the space. Whether the horses are calm. Whether the morning has the right tone. He can tell things from the quality of the morning that no report would give him. He has always been able to do this. His father taught him. He was 6 years old. His father put him in the middle of the herd and said, "Stand still. Listen. Tell me what you hear." He stood still. He listened. He told his father, "They are not worried. The morning is good." His father said, "How do you know?" He said, "The way they are standing. The sound they are making. Everything says the morning is good." His father nodded. He said, "Now you know how to start a day." He learned other things from his father. How to evaluate terrain. How to negotiate between tribes. How to be a king in a way that made people want to follow rather than having to be compelled. How to make decisions under pressure and live with them afterward. He has been making decisions under pressure for 11 years. He is living with the most recent one. He moves among the horses. The morning is good. The horses are calm. The camp is waking up around him. 26,000 infantry and 3,000 cavalry preparing for whatever the day requires. He is 30 years old. He has a long way to go. Chapter 5. The Letter from Italy. The letter arrives in the second week after Cirta. A fast ship brings it from the north. A rider takes it to Scipio's tent. It is midday. Scipio reads it once. He puts it down on the table. He reads it again. He puts it down again. He looks at the tent wall for a moment. He picks it up. He reads it a third time. Not because the words have changed. Because the third time is when something real becomes real. Carthage has recalled Hannibal. He called for Laelius. He calls for the senior officers. Then he stops and changes his mind. He sends them away when they arrive. Not yet. He needs an hour with this before he explains it to anyone. He sits down. He has been waiting for this letter. He has been working toward this letter since the winter in Sicily when he understood what the strategy required. The whole point of coming to Africa was to force this letter. If Scipio is in Africa with an army, Carthage must choose. Recall Hannibal. Or lose the African territory that funds everything. The letter means the strategy worked. The letter is the proof. He has been right. He sits with the letter and he is not sure what he feels. Satisfaction is not quite it. Relief is not quite it. What he feels is something closer to a specific feeling. A plan executes correctly. You have the proof in your hand. The proof changes everything, including the danger. The strategy worked. The most dangerous military commander alive is now sailing toward Africa. He folds the letter. He reads it one more time before he folds it. 14 years. Hannibal crossed the Alps in 218 BC. He crossed with 37 elephants and an army. The Italian winter was worse than the reports had prepared him for. The crossing reduced the army by half before it reached the Po Valley. What remained fought at Trebia that December. It won. It fought at Lake Trasimene the following spring. It won. It fought at Cannae in the summer after that. 70,000 Roman soldiers died at Cannae in one afternoon. Scipio was 18 years old. He stood at the edge of the field. He counted the dead. The counting did not end. The number was too large to feel real. He felt it anyway. Since then Hannibal has been in Italy, moving through the south, living in it, fighting battles and winning them and watching Rome refuse to break the way it was supposed to break. He has waited for Rome's Italian allies to switch sides in large enough numbers. They have not switched. He has been in Italy for 14 years. He has not taken Rome. He will never take Rome. He has been there anyway. Rome has spent 14 years trying to find an answer to him and failing and trying again. The answer is in this letter. Now he is leaving. He is leaving because Scipio is in Africa. Because the war that Hannibal was supposed to win in Italy has not been won. Because the calculation has changed and the new calculation says Hannibal is needed at home. 14 years of Italy. 14 years of Trebia and Trasimene and Cannae and every smaller action after that. 14 years of watching Rome lose battles and rebuild and refuse to break. He is leaving all of it. Crossing the sea. Because a 28-year-old has made the cost of staying higher than the cost of going. Scipio has read the accounts. He knows the man's record. He knows the pattern. He also knows something the accounts do not say directly. Hannibal in a strategic retreat is different from Hannibal in his best position. A man coming home to defend is different from a man attacking on ground he has chosen. He is still the same man. He is still the man who planned Cannae. But he is no longer moving in his preferred direction. Scipio made him change direction. This matters. He folds the letter. Scipio sits with the letter for a long time. He has been thinking about Hannibal since he was 18 years old at the edge of the Cannae field. He has been thinking about him in a specific way for the last 2 years. Since the winter night in Sicily when he understood what needed to happen. You cross the sea. You go to Africa. You make Carthage afraid enough to call its general home. You force the war to end where it started. The plan worked. The plan has now placed the most dangerous military mind alive on the same continent as Scipio. That was also the plan. He knew it was part of the plan. He is looking at it now that it is no longer theoretical. He will be 28 in the summer. Hannibal is 45. They have never been in the same place at the same time. In a few months they will be in the same place at the same time. Only one of them will be right about how that goes. The other one will have been wrong for the last time. He thinks about what he knows. He knows the battles. He has studied them the way you study things that killed people you knew. Trebia. Trasimene. Cannae. He has looked at every account he can find. He has drawn the movements on paper. He has done it at night when the camp is quiet. He has done it until the pattern is clear. The same pattern. Every time. Draw the enemy in. Let them feel they are winning. Let them press forward. Let them forget to watch the flanks. Close the trap on the flanks. Hannibal fights battles with patience. He creates conditions. He waits for the enemy to walk into them. He does not hurry. He has never hurried. At Cannae he spent weeks arranging the ground before he was ready. He could wait for the conditions because he trusted the conditions. He trusted the trap. Scipio has been thinking about how to not walk into it. He has ideas. He does not know yet if the ideas are right. He will not know until it happens. He will not know until he is standing across from Hannibal, with the trap set, and whatever he has arranged against it. Both of them in the same field at the same time. One plan against the other. He wants that field to be one he chooses. He knows the name he is thinking of. He has not said it yet. Not yet. He has been sitting with this name since the maps in Sicily. Since he started drawing the African interior on paper. Using reports and accounts. The memories of men who had been there. He has been building the picture the way he built the picture of Carthago Nova. Starting from the known and working outward. He knows the terrain south of Carthage. He knows where the ground is flat and where it is not. He knows where water is reliable. He knows the direction the wind comes from in different seasons. What that does to dust and visibility. To the movement of large formations. He has learned all of this without having been there. The name sits on the map in a specific location. The ground around it is flat. Open. The kind of open that gives cavalry room to arc. To turn. To come in from angles that a formation cannot cover simultaneously. If both flanks have cavalry, the cavalry holds until the moment is right. It comes in on both sides when the infantry center is already engaged. That is Cannae. That is exactly Cannae from the other side. He needs Hannibal to be there. He needs Hannibal to choose ground that looks advantageous and is not. He needs Hannibal to commit his veterans to the center before the flanks close. He has been thinking about this for 2 years. He does not know if Hannibal will do it. Hannibal knows this pattern. He invented it. He has been thinking about this war for longer than Scipio has been alive. He has seen every variation of the trap. He will not walk into his own trap. Unless he has a reason to. Scipio has been thinking about what the reason might be. He has some ideas. They are not ready yet. He needs the ground to work with. He needs Masinissa's 3,000 horses at the right moment. He needs the infantry to hold the center for exactly as long as the flanks need to close. He needs it to work the first time. There is no second Zama. He puts the name in the back of his mind. Not yet. The letter has arrived. Hannibal is crossing the sea. There are months before it happens. He will use the months. He has always known how to use the time he has. He goes back to the table. He picks up the letter. He reads it one more time. Carthage has recalled Hannibal. He puts it down. He has been in Africa for months. He has taken Utica's surroundings. He has won the alliance with Masinissa. He has broken Syphax. He has done what needed to be done in the sequence it needed to be done. He has not wasted a week. He has not wasted a day. The letter is the proof that the sequence worked. It is also the beginning of the hardest part. He picks up a clean piece of parchment. He begins making a list. Not of what needs to be done. He knows what needs to be done. He is making a list of what he does not yet know. The questions that the letter raises that he does not have answers to. Where Hannibal will land. Which ports Carthage still controls. How long the crossing takes with a full army. What condition Hannibal's veterans are in after 14 years in Italy. Whether the Italian allies who defected will make the crossing. How many elephants? He writes. He runs out of parchment before he runs out of questions. He finds another piece. He keeps going. He will work on these questions every day from now until the battle. Some of them he will answer from scouts and reports and the riders he sends in every direction. Some of them he will not answer until Hannibal is standing across the field. He is comfortable with this. He has always been comfortable with the gap between what you know and what you need to know. The gap is where the plan lives. You build the plan in the gap. You make it flexible enough to survive being wrong about some of the things you cannot know. He writes until the lamp is low. He puts down the pen. Outside, Africa is dark and full of the sounds it makes in the deep part of the night. He is going to meet Hannibal Barca on a flat piece of ground in the African interior. One of them is going to be wrong. He does not know which one. He knows which one he intends to be. He finds Masinissa near evening. Masinissa is with his horses. He is with them most evenings when the day's main work is done. He moves among them slowly. They move around him. He does not perform this. He simply goes there. The horses are the version of him that does not have to be a king. Or an ally. Or the man who walked a corridor 2 weeks ago. Just a man who knows horses. He has been doing this his whole life. Before the war. Before Hispania. Before the retreat years when the count changed each morning. He grew up with horses. He learned what he knows about cavalry before he learned what he knows about war. The horses are what he is when nothing else is required. Scipio watches him for a moment before speaking. He has been watching Masinissa since the meeting at Utica. Building a picture. The way Masinissa thinks, which is quickly and in specific terms. The way he manages his men, which is without ceremony and through example. The way he was this morning when Scipio saw him training with 3 of his riders. He was not commanding them. He was riding with them. Showing with his body what he wanted. He is the man Scipio needed. Scipio tells him what the letter says. Masinissa listens. He runs a hand along the neck of the horse nearest to him. The horse stands still. The hand moves. He says, "How long does the crossing take?" Scipio says, "Weeks." More if he has to wait for winds with a large force. Masinissa asks, "Where will he land?" Scipio says, "The south coast." He needs ports that Carthage controls. Masinissa is quiet. His hand moves on the horse. He says, "If he comes south he moves through the interior." I know the interior. I know every road from the coast to the high ground. Scipio looks at him. He says, "Tell me." They go back to the tent. They have been in this tent many times in the last months. The map table is familiar. The lamp. The particular light at this time of day. The sun low, coming through the tent flap at an angle that changes how the maps look. Masinissa sits across from him. He is still. He has the quality of stillness that comes from being able to move very fast when needed. It is not relaxation. It is gathered. He looks at the maps. He starts talking. He knows the interior roads the way Scipio knows the east coast of Hispania. Not from maps. From riding. From years of moving through the territory that should have been his. He describes the ground south of Carthage. The passes. The flat land. Where water is reliable and where it is not. He talks for 2 hours and Scipio makes marks on the maps and asks questions. They work through the night. The coastal charts. The interior survey maps that Scipio has been building from reports. From the riders he sent south and east. 2 men who have been fighting different parts of the same war. From different sides of it at different times. Building the shape of something that has not happened yet. The name Zama comes up on the maps. A town in the interior. South and west of Carthage. The ground around it is flat and open. Masinissa knows the ground. He rode through it twice in the retreat years. Going south and then north again when the north became too dangerous. He knows the specific flatness of it. Where the land is truly flat and where it only appears flat. And then tilts when you are riding with 2,000 horses. And the tilt matters. On flat and open ground, cavalry can move. Cavalry with room to arc and turn does things that infantry cannot answer. It hits the flanks at the right moment. This is the lesson of Cannae. Reversed. Scipio looks at Zama on the map. He has been building toward this point for 2 years. Cannae. The pattern. How to use the pattern in reverse. How to be the one who closes the trap instead of the one who walks into it. You need cavalry on both flanks. You need cavalry that can hold. Until the moment is right. Then come in fast and hard from both sides. He looks at Masinissa across the table. Masinissa is looking at Zama on the map. His hand has stopped moving. He is very still. He has been building toward something for 11 years. He cannot name it yet from here. He knows the shape of it. He knows it is close. Neither of them says the name Zama aloud. It sits on the map between them. The lamp is low. The camp is quiet. The night is deep. They will say it when the time comes. Outside, Africa makes its night sounds. Different from Italy. Different from Hispania. The darkness here has its own quality. That's. The continent holds the dark the way it holds the heat. The stars above are the same stars Scipio learned in Rome, in Sicily, on the road south to Hispania. They are the same stars. They seem closer here. He does not know if this is Africa. Or what happens when you have been far enough from home long enough. He steps outside for a moment. The camp is quiet. The watchfires are low. The guards at the perimeter are still. He can see 2 of them from here. They do not see him. He is standing in the dark outside the tent flap and the lamplight is behind him. He looks south. He has been looking south since he arrived. Every night in this camp he finds himself oriented the same way. So, toward Carthage. Toward the thing he came to end. He cannot see Carthage from here. He knows the direction. He knows the distance. He has walked this distance in his head many times. He has calculated it against the time available. The men available. The conditions that will have to exist for the final battle to go the right way. He cannot see Carthage. He knows exactly where it is. Hannibal crossed a continent to bring the war to Rome. He crossed the Alps in winter. He drove down through Italy. He fought battles in Italy for 14 years. He did all of this. He won most of it. The thing he was trying to break did not break. Scipio crossed the sea. One of those men did the more complicated thing. One of those men changed the shape of what was possible. Scipio is not sure which of them it was. He thinks about this for a moment. The Alps crossing was extraordinary. Nobody had done it with an army that size in living memory. Hannibal lost half his army in the crossing and fought Trebia with what remained and won. This is a specific kind of military genius. The ability to absorb catastrophic cost and keep going. The ability to arrive at the fight already depleted and still be better than the man across the field. Scipio crossed a sea. The sea crossing was difficult. It was not catastrophic. He arrived with everything he left with. He had prepared the fleet and the supplies and the timing and it had gone as planned. He has done this before. He plans things and they go as planned. He does not know if he is better than the man across the field. He thinks about what he knows about himself. He knows he can plan. He knows he can read ground. He knows he can build an army and prepare it and maintain it. He knows he can find the gap in a position and use it. He knows he can wait. He does not know what Hannibal is going to do. He has studied the battles and he knows the pattern and the pattern tells him what has worked. It does not tell him what Hannibal will do. When the man across the field does not do what the other men have done. When the man across the field has been studying the same battles from the other side. Thinking about what to do when his trap does not work. Hannibal is 45. He has been at war for his entire adult life. He has been winning for most of it. He has been beaten only by things outside the field. Supply lines. Top. Rome's refusal to break. Not by anything that happened in the battle itself. Scipio has never fought a battle he lost. Neither has Hannibal. One of them is going to. You will find out. He goes back inside. Writer's note. I do not read Sophoniba as a victim. She named what was happening while it was happening to her. That is not weakness. It is the only form of power she had left, and she used it completely. Masinissa loved her. This destroyed something in him. He went back to his horses. He was king for 60 more years. He built a kingdom and fought a war and watched empires move around him. The cup is not the worst thing he did. It is the thing he could not put down. Next time, Zama. The plain before dawn. 2 armies. One last conversation.